Oh my. Yeah, two Dynamite dudes on a Rampage. We are live, assholes. How are you? Marcus, I'm with my degenerate brother, Marcus DeAngelo, who bailed on us on the 75th episode. What a celebration we had. Marcus wasn't there. He's a degenerate. Marcus, welcome back. It seems like many months you've been on the show.
I'll tell you, that might be the most honest intro you've given to me on this podcast so far.
Yeah,
yeah. So you gotta fucking turn down that energy. You're freaking me out.
I know. I'm fucking wired. I had 2 cups of coffee. I brewed another one, and now I am rolling, Marcus. I got a lot of venom to spit just because you're back, and you have. You really don't have an excuse that you just fucking bailed on us last week. All of the listeners here, listen, look, people are already commenting. It's Marcus, Nesha, see, right? Yeah. What's up, guys? Wow,
is
Marcus,
it becoming that much of a rarity to see
welcome
me?
Marcus back. I don't know.
I missed a week. No, it's hey, I'm a busy motherfucker, guys.
I don't want to hear it. Okay, just don't want to hear it. I think it's crock of shit. All right.
Speaking of me being busy, Dominic. Let's motor this motherfucking thing ahead.
You are a button pusher. Let me
you hear my cell phone going off. I'm an important guy, Dominic. Important guy. I missed you too, Nesha. Missed all you guys. Dan Goose, what's up, dog? Steve Chambers, how you doing, man? Yeah, really glad to be here this week.
Are you sure, Marcus? Are you sure
with you guys?
You're happy to be here?
You know, it's like I signed a contract. It's like an obligation. I'm just kidding. There's no obligation here.
There's no obligation.
Sweet shirt, Dom.
Hey, yeah. Okay, you want to do this real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Check that out there.
The Enforcer, guys.
Huh?
Armed Anderson. Everybody's wrestling dad.
That's right. He instills words of wisdom week in and week out.
Dominic, Dan Goose is living his best life right now. Listening to us eating Chinese.
God dang, I want to be doing that. What Chinese?
Tell me it's Kung Pao, Dan.
Tell me it's lo mein.
So in any case, we're 2 Dynamite dudes, guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're happy to be here.
We're here talking some AEW. Marcus, I guess before we get to it, I got to ask, how was your Thanksgiving? Didn't spend it with me.
It was nice until the fucking Cowboys lost.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was nice up until that moment. But that's all right. They're going to come back this week and kick the dog shit out of Nesha's Saints.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe there should be some sort of wager on here.
You know, you got Trevor Siemian in there. So he's like a radio contest winner in there, quarterback. He's not going to do anything.
Marcus, well, I mean, let's be honest. Dak has been playing like a radio contest winner as of late as well.
Hey, you say what you want about me. Don't you dare disparage the good goddamn name of Dak Prescott. Kevin Davis, what's up, man? Still safe? I hope you're doing all right there, bub.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's oh shit, everybody's hurt. So Nesha's relinquishing it already.
Oh wow. Hey, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it,
man. You're the man, Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, he's gone. All right.
All right. Well, let's get to the show.
Yeah.
Itself, Marcus. I guess the big lead. What they led off Dynamite with this week, huh?
Tell you what.
They went right to it. If this was WWE, I said this on Twitter. If this was WWE, they would have prolonged that fucking thing for weeks on end, like 5 weeks before those two even talked to one another. They would tease it and just get the fans all frustrated and angry and finally be like, fucking give it to us. But AEW just gave it to us right off the bat here. 1 week, we got the tease of CM Punk not saying a damn word. And then, hey, we get it. Boom. In Chicago, first segment. What'd you think?
Loved it. I thought they absolutely nailed it. You know, this is what's missing from wrestling nowadays. And, you know, like the references to WWE, I'm sure that people got a little butthurt over that situation. But, you know, the fact remains that we outdo them. You know, when's the last time that you saw a better confrontation on national television in wrestling? I can't think of it.
Right.
It's certainly not on WWE programming. You know, all that storyline scripted bullshit that goes on over there. It's hard to pick out some gems anymore. You know, it's hard to stick around or pay attention when people are cutting promos anymore because you don't get the gems. And then, you know, you flip the channel to AEW and they're coming with these like just spitting hot fire, Dom. And yeah, it's unbelievable segment. one of my favorite segments I've seen in Dynamite.
What was your favorite line or dig or anything like that? Who
Got to be the one about marrying Tony Khan's daughter.
you like that one?
I'll tell you what, the gloves were off, man, and it was a lot of fun.
I loved the Rosie O'Donnell line. The reference to UFC was very good because we always talk about like, hey, are they going to mention that? And is that a good thing to mention? I thought it was great, you know?
It like had that improvisational like entertainment feel that like honestly it reminded me of stuff you'd see between like Mankind and The Rock back in the day. You know what I mean? Just that like that improvisational, like just okay, let's just go out there and do it. I got a general idea of what I'm going to say. It was incredible, man.
I know, and this is something that we've been waiting for, like since Punk debuted, show returned. Was just like, hey, we can't wait to see him feud with MJF. We got a taste of it. And it was like, what was it, like 15 minutes, something like that? I wanted them to keep going.
I think they're going to go back to the well on it. When you have something that successful, we're going to see it again. There's going to be like a contract signing situation, and they're each going to get some mic time. I'm calling it now. We're gonna see plenty of this in the lead up to the match. Dominic, is MJF finally the one that's going to unseat CM Punk? End his undefeated streak?
That's a great question. You know what? And I didn't even go that length to think about that. But you know what, Marcus? I think it is. And shouldn't it be? Like, right?
It should. Absolutely. If you're gonna pick one guy to defeat CM Punk, first of all, it's got to be a heel. CM Punk is a babyface, whether you want him to be or not. He is. Yes. So the person who is going to beat him has to be a heel. And can you name a better heel or more up and coming heel? I can't.
No, I can't.
So he's really the only call. And like, okay, so how about he beats him? And at this upcoming confrontation, how about he beats him and then he can get his win back at the next one? Let's do it. Let's do another 3-month fuck. Let MJF beat him twice and then have a third blow-off match. And then Punk gets his win back.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Jericho feud almost. Like you don't gotta obviously follow that to a T, but I mean, like it was great stuff. Like Dan Green Goose says, watching their promo was like watching history in the making. It felt like a big like what we wanted to tune into Dynamite and original, like event tune in television. It really felt like that, where it was like, hey, this is gonna be good shit, and we got a good payoff with it. Let's see here. There was something else I wanted to show to people. Oh, yes. Comparing MJF to The Miz. Marcus, that was a good line, too.
Yes, it was. I was just a lot of zingers. And, MJF was holding his own, too. That's the thing is, like, ordinarily one guy shines. And I'm not going to lie, CM Punk certainly shined. But MJF managed to shine himself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, like, I just want to see how it progresses, what MJF does next. Because, I mean, you think about how MJF has handled his, like, feuds with everybody. Like, he cuts to the core. Like, he walks that edge. I mean, just look at the Darby Allin stuff last feud. Go ahead.
He's not afraid of the heat.
No. And that's what you like to see in wrestling because you do not get it. Heck, you do not get that with how society is nowadays. You don't get that a whole lot either because, everybody's on eggshells of what they say or what they tweet or, anything to that effect. So, I mean, having a heel have the capability to do it, it's very much like stand-up, where it's like you walk that line, you push that edge. And, it's MJF has the capability and the desire to do that. So,
yeah, and you got to give it up, man. I think that a lot of people, especially with like cancel culture sort of an environment now, especially for public figures, they probably shy away from it. But he's like, nah, I'm not doing it.
Not doing it. And he doesn't capitulate either, like if he gets called out on something or somebody tries to make us think about something, he'll either ignore it or lean into it.
Yeah, he doesn't care, which I think is fantastic.
It is fantastic. It's good. Like,
and by the way, like this is a television program on TNT. Mm-hmm. So if you're going in and watching this, you can't get offended by it because it's a fictional television program. So like, that would be like, let's say that the movie that comes on before it is like The Incredible Hulk and the bad guy like punches a kid in the face, right?
Yeah.
Like if you saw that happen in real life, you'd be like, what in the fuck? But like it's a TV show. Do you when you see somebody commit a horrible act of violence in a movie, do you stand up like fuck this guy, I hate the actor, I hate this movie, I'm leaving? Like, no, dude. Like,
well, let's say Marcus, our dad kind of would do that.
Well, our dad is not a good example of normal human behavior.
That's correct.
But the point is that, like, look, MJF is playing a character, and even though he acts that way in public, he's still not that human being. So everybody just needs to push past it and just like appreciate what he is and what he's doing. He's an unbelievably talented promo.
Very good. Marcus, is there anything on your mug? You're just white.
No, it's a WPXI mug. You can't really see it.
Pittsburgh, very nice.
Yes.
NBC, baby. All right. Anything else you want to say about this? Regarding like where this might go, where the match might occur, anything?
All I'll say again is I hope that where it does go is a defeat for CM Punk at the hands of MJF.
I think it'd be great.
As far as where when you do it, next pay-per-view, I think it should be.
What about Winter is coming?
That could be pretty good, but
that's only.
Hang on, I gotta stop my cat from being an asshole.
That's only in like a couple weeks. Is Winter is coming? That's like December 15th, I want to say. So I mean that's not too far off. I would maybe push it till the next. I'm with you when pushing it to the next pay-per-view, Revolution.
I've got that like old school promoter mindset, where I'm just like, make them pay for it on pay-per-view, build it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like build the angle, build it like, let's have a tag match. Let's have a triple tag match. Like 1 week it's a tag match that they're both involved in. Next week it's a triple tag match that they're both involved in. So the next week a 3-way, and then hopefully we're at the pay-per-view so we can quit fucking around. But
yeah. I'm looking at the chat here. What Arvin Pillow Akiyama asks, Tyson Fury asks.
Well, you butchered that name, Dominic. Butchered it.
Asks for Stephanie McMahon heading back to WWE 2 years ago. I'm not sure what you're referring to. If you can clarify, let us know. I don't know if that's a new thing, Tyson Fury, if something just broke, but I don't know. Tyson Fury is pretty good though. He's obviously captivating individual in the boxing world, and he's really brought a lot of eyes back onto the product. So it says something,
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. See, this is Dan's on the point here. Maybe the first TBS show, which is beginning of January 5th. Could see it then.
And well, I mean, that would certainly be like a nice occasion for a blowout event. But yeah. I don't know. That being said, I'm a big fan of the old make them wait.
Yeah, but I am too. Like an argument against that though is they're in the television business. So I mean, if you want to get eyes on it, I mean that's a good match to really promote and build to that. So something to think about. All right, Mark. Next up, you didn't get to talk about this last week, but Bryan Danielson, a little bit of a heel turn here. Where are you at on this?
Hate it.
You hate it?
Hate it. Yeah, I don't want him to be a heel. I don't think the fans want him to be a heel. He's too over. He's too over for it to work, and we're too early in his run. If this was a year from now, okay, we can start talking about a heel turn. I would prefer probably closer to 2 years from now. But I don't understand. I don't understand why. It's funny though, because as I mentioned to you, I was like, well, if Hangman Page wins the title at the pay-per-view, I was like, then in theory, Miro should be the number one contender, right? Because it should be a heel and a baby face, and they're giving us a heel and a baby face. It's just like not quite what I wanted. I think that what
anybody wanted, or maybe not. Maybe some people. I'm intrigued by the match and by the the story itself. But yeah, it's like Bryan Danielson plays a very, very good heel, and he's like very good at leaning into it too, and like taking jabs at the crowd, like slight jabs at the crowd, slight jabs at the fan favorites, and everything like that. He does a great job, but it's just like, oh man, I just want to see him be a babyface right now. Like you hear me every week, I say he's like the best babyface in wrestling, and like it's going against that grain, and I'm hoping that it's just a short-term thing, where it's just.
I hope so. Mm-hmm. I hope so, but I don't know. Like he's doing some very heelish things, so it's hard to just be like after this match, just be like, never mind, I'm a good guy.
But it's like a thing of confidence, though, and he's teased that ever since he debuted. Like that night where I was doing the interview scrum with everybody at All Out, he was talking about how confident he is and like how he believes he's the best wrestler in the world and saying all that kind of thing. And then he said that too at the next scrum after, what was the last pay-per-view, Marcus? Help me out here. Full Gear. He was saying all that stuff. And so like he was planting the seeds way back then even. So, I mean, it can really get switched around if they have a competitive fight and then Hangman beats him clean. And then Bryan Danielson's just like, hey, man, that was good shit. You know, good cowboy shit right there. And so
I guess it could work. Yeah. I mean, maybe it is just like a build up for it, but I don't know. It like, I'm not crazy about like the short term thinking when it comes to that sort of thing. You know, we saw, I was just thinking about this during the 8-man tag match, because we saw Cody Rhodes on the same side as Penta and Ray Phoenix. And as it was happening, I was like, didn't Penta like say that he was going to hurt Cody so bad that he couldn't hold his child? You know, Cody's child is not a year old yet. So that angle was not that long ago.
Did he say that? I can't remember that. Yeah, you're right though, because
when he came out wearing the
suited Penta.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like that happened not that long. Like if anybody ever said, like if wrestling's a shoot and somebody ever said that to me, I would never talk to that human again, never shake their hand, probably kick the shit out of them.
But if you're in a competitive environment to win,
I mean
somebody that you're like in the thick of like a feud with, like Malakai Black, he's kicked all your nightmare compatriots, he's kicked Arn. He's done all this stuff. So if this is, you're right in the thick of that, Marcus, and you're like, listen, I got to tag with. Okay, you're tagging with Ray Phoenix. You're tagging with, oh my God, Pac. Okay, you have a brief kind of alliance with them. If it's a means to an end,
I don't know. You know, and it's wrestling, so so wrestling logic applies. So maybe I'm being a little over analytical, but. You know, the short term kind of storytelling is, you know, I like a longer build, man. It's just me. Dominic, I saw earlier before. I'm seeing you enjoying some of these comments, and there's some stuff we need to talk about.
Yeah, there's some good comments.
But Nesha brought up earlier, teeth getting knocked out. Daniel Bryan knocked the teeth out of Colt Cabana. Was that a shoot?
Oh, I mean, like, I don't think he had chiclets in there.
Were those fake teeth like Danhausen carries around?
What if they like, oh man, but this is a way aside, but I think they should bring Danhausen into AEW.
No question about it. And that would have been a great opportunity for him to debut. Just come out to get the teeth.
Boy, he would be super over.
Oh, I think it's inevitable. I think Danhausen is going to be part of AEW, and I'm expecting a Road Warrior pop when he arrives.
How would you put him in? How would you implement him into the product?
I think that the only for me, the comedy gimmicks have a shelf life most of the time, unless you're super creative. So I'm hopeful that. Tony Khan, and I think Tony Khan's a really creative guy. His booking has just gotten better and better and better over time. So I think I can tell that he's a really creative guy. So I suspect he'd be able to do it, but you know, when it comes to comedy angles, I think that there's a shelf life. You know, it's not like back in the day, you know, Jackie Fargo would be out there kind of doing his comedy shtick as he got older, but he was moving around territories. So like he was in front of live crowds that hadn't seen his shtick, or if they had, it hadn't been a long time. We're talking about national TV week after week after week, and the same loyal fan base coming back. So if you're not creative, those comedy gimmicks, it's like, it would be like having a comedian come out and tell you the same fucking joke once a week, right? So that's why creativity is going to be really important.
Absolutely. And you can find different roles for him to do, like, you know, weird alliances to be a part of, and then like almost from a comic book perspective, again, if you tie things together and have him make references back and do you can really get some longevity out of it. And yeah, like, and to your point too, it's almost like I say too, is like with AEW and how they should handle their heavy roster is roster, thank you, is volleyball team style.
You've done that since we were kids.
No.
All right, go ahead.
Did you get the roster update on Madden?
I'm like, roster, yes, I did.
So yeah, but I think he's definitely, I think he's AEW bound, as he should be.
And by the way, so you had said, how do you do it? The way I would debut him is like, if fingers crossed, they're going to get Bray Wyatt to come out there sometime soon, which I suspect is going to happen at Winter is Coming or right after the turn of the new year. When that happens, I say put Bray Wyatt into a creepy gimmick. As I'm a big fan of, I think that he should be in some kind of a creep gimmick. But then down the road, you have Danhausen debut and try to get in with him. And like him, of course, be rejected because he's such a weirdo, and Bray Wyatt's doing like a serious thing. So I think that would be a fun way to debut him. But then it's like I said, you've got to be very creative to kick that can down the road.
Yeah. Marcus, another comment I'm sure you want to talk about was this.
I can't wait to talk about this.
Cody throwing the belt to the crowd, and the belt being thrown back.
I texted you when it happened, and I was like, nobody in that building. I was like, nobody in that building would be able to pry that belt out of my hands if I caught it. Yeah, I love Cody. I think he's awesome. I don't understand the whole him being like a baby face heel, a baby face that people hate, but is what it is. I don't know. It might be all the pomp and circumstance, though, because it's like when AEW first started, he was coming out and like he had that really grand entrance and stuff, and it's just like, oh man, this is awesome. It's like super epic. But again, much like the comedy gimmick, it's like we've been seeing that for a while now. So it's like every time he comes out, it's he comes out with that whole thing, and I think that it's like a heat magnet thing where it's like this arrogant motherfucker's still coming out here to this. It's like he's got the slow, like the smoke, and he's like coming up out of the ground, So if I were to just take a crack at it, I would say stuff like that is what's kind of pissing people off. But yeah, I thought that was wild. Somebody could have been hurt. That belt is heavy. By the way, the buckle or whatever part of that belt, that's heavy, dangerous, can cut somebody. So I was pretty shocked to see it, but there's some very one night stand vibes going on at AEW in Chicago.
Whipped many a man with a belt like that. And
you ever notice how he grabbed it by the end that had the metal on it though?
Yeah.
That metal piece flying through the air at the just think about the possibility for like a whip effect with that metal piece if somebody had thrown it just wrong, where like the metal piece kind of whips down and catches Aubrey or somebody in the ring with it, which is why Andrade grabbed the belt and threw it under the ring. I think he was pissed off because like somebody could have been fucking hurt, so he took it and whipped it under the ring, like get this thing out of here.
It's like, okay, this is not a Cubs game, all right. It's not like you're throwing a baseball back where somebody hit a home run or anything like that. It's a freaking weight belt. And it's, I don't know, like, why would, and there's so many like asinine reasons to like, oh, I'm going to get a pop for doing this and all that stuff. And it's just like, it's dumb.
It's fans trying to take over the show. Which we see a lot, which by the way is not a good thing. I think fans think that it's like, oh, we're like this community, it's great. It's like, no, dude, you're kind of taking away from what we love about wrestling when you do that kind of shit.
You know what it's like? It's like the Hey Arnold character where like kids are having a conversation and the one dude, I don't remember what his name is, like breathing over. That's wrestling fans of wrestling. It's like
that's an apt comparison, Dominic.
Why, thank you.
All right, what else do we have going on here? By the way, Cody threw it into the crowd later and the guy kept it, which by the way would have been me. Well, I didn't see it get whipped back in. He threw it back in later on.
Didn't Andrade throw it under the ring or something?
Cody went back and got it. If you remember, Cody went under the ring, put it back around his waist, and then later in the match, he threw it into the crowd again. The crowd started chanting for the dude to throw it back, and it never came back. So I guess whoever caught it was just like, nah, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, fucking keep it. Jeez.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd lift some weights with that baby.
It's probably not that hanging on my wall though.
Yeah. See, Nesha loves Cody too. Can't hate him.
I think Cody's great. He's a great worker. He's got a great look. Family guy. He's got a great heritage in professional wrestling. He's like the underdog story where like WWE kind of like was hot and cold with him, didn't use him properly. He went to the Indies, built himself, which is always like the dream of wrestlers. That's like the big fuck you to like New York, right? Where it's like you go out into the Indies and you're a success in spite of Vince not seeing it in you. Like it's a cool story. So Cody's got a really cool story, and I don't see how you can hate it. I love Cody. Honestly, modern day wrestling, it's like it's him and it's Miro, and those are my two at the top for sure. Well, obviously Thunder Rosa. I love her. So
yeah.
Those are my 3 favorite wrestlers today.
I was thinking about this too, Marcus, and it's like it's crazy unfortunate, but like Cesaro was up there for you too, but like it's like he's non-existent. Like
I don't watch WWE anymore. I can't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The programming just isn't good anymore. For work, I'll watch highlights of it because I can't get through the program. The storylines are rubbish, and they take a guy like Cesaro who might legitimately be the best worker on the face of the planet, and they just like they'll use him a little bit, and then they lean off of him, and it's like it's just such an like you want to talk about. I was thinking about this actually today. You want to talk about the retirement match for Kurt Angle, Cesaro. What about him and Cesaro at WrestleMania? It would have been unbelievable.
Yeah, it's true.
No good reason not to do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. And like Cesaro would have been able to work around like Kurt's like age and anything like that, where it's like they could have made something work for sure.
You know what's funny is I think about this stuff when I'm like, so I as my wife takes care of the baby, a lot of time I'm taking care of like cooking and stuff. So a lot of times as I'm like cooking a meal, I'll be thinking about this sort of thing. And a great idea occurred to me today while I was cooking, and that was Andrade and Jose, the assistant. Jose, they should have kayfabed that Andrade doesn't speak English. Or doesn't speak it well enough, and so you bring him in, and he's a baby face, but the guy who translates for him is a heel. So like he's taking what he's saying and twisting it to make him seem like he's saying evil things to people, and then he gets into like these blowout situations with other baby faces, and like he's trying to be a good guy throughout the match, but his assistant keeps like trying to make it look terrible. But then you close out the angle by having him come in with his English and say like, hey, I've been learning English and I found out all the things that you've been saying about me, and boom, he's a baby face.
Well, Marcus, there's a lot of Spanish speaking people in AEW. Wouldn't somebody let Andrade in on that?
Wrestling logic, Dominic. Wrestling
Marcus logic is not good logic.
Hammer on though. It's just something that occurred to me.
Well, keep it to yourself next time.
Oh, ouch.
Speaking of, Steven Chambers mentions this match, so we'll bring this up. Who wins between Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander, Marcus?
I'd like for it to be Chris Statlander. I think Ruby Soho's over enough on her own. Chris Statlander's kind of on that upward trajectory. So I think that you help her out by getting her a win here. But that's what I think should happen. What I know will happen is Ruby Soho's going to win.
Yeah, and I think she should win too, because she lost to Britt Baker. I think she needs to get. I ultimately think that she's the most in need of winning this TBS title first.
She's gonna win it.
Mm-hmm. And because like we always talk about, Thunder Rosa is going to be more in the women's title contention. I think, ultimately, it'll be interesting to see where Jade Cargill falls at in this too. If that's going to be just maybe the Thunder Rosa and Cargill will wash one another out, and we'll get a feud going with those two again. I'm
picturing Cargill and Soho in the finals, mm-hmm. and Soho's going to beat Cargill for it, and but then of course Cargill's going to have like hard feelings and come after, and then we've got a program going.
Oh, that's true too. That's true.
I think that Rhodes is going to be eliminated because of Britt Baker. Would be my guess.
Yeah,
I think Britt Baker or Rebel or somebody associated with Britt Baker is going to try to keep her from winning that belt.
Yeah, I can see that too. Speaking of Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter, what did you think of that match?
Oh man, it was great. I texted you during that match too. There were 2 moments I texted you during Dynamite, and it was the belt being thrown, and it was that match where everybody here knows how I feel about Thunder Rosa. I think she's the best in the business. I'll say this again. This is going to be like my customary thing. First of all, friend of the show. But my other customary thing is like stone cold level of potential in her. I really see it. See it. Because she's a badass and great marketability. I really see all the potential in Thunder Rosa.
And that reaction she gets every week too. When that music hits.
Every week. And did you see Mick Foley's tweet about her?
Which one? I've seen a couple of it.
He said that they need to secure the rights to Thunderstruck so that she can come out to it. And he's right. Imagine the pop she would get.
That's true. It's very true.
Dude, that would be incredible.
Boy,
Honestly,
I tell you what, though,
needs to happen.
AC/DC, what they're charging for that's a lot of money.
Well, if you're gonna push it, if you're gonna push her the way that I would push her if I was like in charge of AEW or head of marketing or whatever, I think if you're gonna give her that Stone Cold level push, let's give her a big time feel.
I'm just thinking, Marcus, we played Thunderstruck, the Thunderstruck drinking game, and that's a lot of chant you can get down in that.
I'll tell you what, it is a lot.
It is a lot. That's a lot of drinking.
What they should do, Dom, to recoup some of that money is you have people sending $5 and a video of their party, just like back in the day with the Nitro parties, where the Nitro girls and Tony Schiavone and fucking Mean Gene would show up at your house or whatever.
Yes.
You send $5 and a VHS, VHS, to AEW. And if you're selected, Thunder Rosa comes to your house and plays Thunderstruck with you.
Oh man. I'm such a lightweight, Marcus.
What's that?
I'm such a lightweight.
But that would be something else.
What would be your drink of choice if you played Thunderstruck?
What's the lightest thing I can drink so I don't get alcohol poisoning during that period?
Michelob. What is that one? The 94 calories or whatever?
I don't know.
Can't remember. I like the idea though, Marcus. They should have Dynamite parties.
It would be hilarious, and you have to send in a VHS, so people would be like going out trying to get. Be going out trying to fucking buy VCRs and shit.
You gotta purchase a VCR.
No, I think it'd be cool if they brought back Nitro parties with the Dynamite party, and I don't know. I wouldn't hate it if they brought back Nitro or Dynamite girls.
Who would you send?
You'd have to send fucking Alex Marvez.
That'd be great.
Just him. That's it.
You could send. We'll get Danhausen.
Oh, Danhausen! Could you imagine that?
Could you imagine Danhausen at a Dynamite party?
That would be wild.
Where's your teeth?
It could be good TV, and that's how you recoup the money, Tom.
That's it. I like it. Tweet videos. It's 2021, says Nesha.
No, Nesha. VHSs. Come on.
Let's keep it kayfabe here.
All right. What's next, though?
Marcus, what do you think overall here of this Adam Cole and Bobby Fish alliance? And I like it. I did. Did you catch Rampage? Did you watch Rampage?
I saw bits and pieces, and that was one of the bits and pieces I saw. Mm-hmm. Yes, I like it. I think that they're a natural team together. I think that their history, and Jericho talked about it during the match where he's like, these guys have been together, throughout other promotions.
Yeah.
So I think that their history makes them a natural fit.
Yeah.
It's that's what I really like about, and this is something that was mentioned, or that I saw mentioned online regarding the MJF and CM Punk promo, was that like they do a good job with continuity and canon.
Yes.
in AEW, and so somebody said AEW is better at using WWE's canon than WWE is.
It's true.
It's true.
It's like
true. Yeah, they think more about it. Their promos are kind of centered around it. They kind of use the folklore and nostalgia factor, and it's really cool. So that's why that kind of scratches my itch whenever I see something like that happen, where it's like, hey, just because these guys are in a different promotion doesn't mean they stop being friends. They were friends on the other program. They should be friends on this program as well.
Not like revisionist history or like something Orwellian where it's like, all right, we can't talk about this. This is not,
Like, what a silly rule that is, and I think it's an old school promoter mindset where they're like, don't talk about the competition because then people are going to get curious about the competition. It's like, no, talk about the competition, bring them up, because then that makes you very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm. You're in the mix.
If I'm tuning in to a program and I'm unfamiliar with AEW, but I hear them referencing and making fun of things that are happening on the other program, I'm like, I'm wondering what these guys are going to say next. This is fascinating. Yeah.
It's like just getting a little bit more eyes on things and everything like that. Like I do the MLW Fusion Fight Report every week. Cheap plug here, but it's like MLW does that too, where they address, hey, Bobby Fish, he's signed by AEW, but he's wrestling Lee Moriarty, who's also signed by AEW right now. But they want the Opera Cup. you know, and
there's
so
nothing wrong with that.
there's nothing wrong.
And that's a cool thing where it's like, hey, I'm in this other wrestling program, but like that Opera Cup is cool. I want it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go over there and try to get it.
I'm gonna bring
You
it
know,
with me too. Like you could
it's
do
got like a
that.
Mortal Kombat vibe, like a traveling fighter.
Yeah, this guy's from Outer World. This guy's from Nether Realm.
So I want the Crockett Cup, and I want people going up there trying to grab the Crockett Cup too. I think that kind of shit is awesome.
Heck yeah, that'd be freaking great. Like, could you imagine FTR competing for the Crockett Cup?
That would be fucking awesome, man.
Fucking great. Should happen.
Right. And it's a great opportunity to bring back like old acts too, so like Rock and Roll Express, bring them and have Matt and Jeff Hardy, if Jeff is out from under, like have them show up and all of a sudden they want the Crockett Cup. I just think, I don't know, I love that kind of thing in wrestling. It's what makes wrestling fun.
It makes it, yeah, it really does. And it's just like, that's how it's always kind of been. Like, if all these territories and stuff, if they were like aired on a weekly basis and stuff like that, you would have to think there's going to be people you see here, people you see there. You look at even like World Class, King Kong Bundy would be there for a time. Andre the Giant would show up for a spell. Ric Flair defend his title against Kerry Von Erich. It's just like, that stuff would happen. And it makes the whole vibe of wrestling more and more intriguing because you just don't know.
And back in the day, like, 80s, 90s, everybody knew everybody or had been around everybody at some point or other, so it's like, even though they're not on the same program, it's like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like Scott Hall and The Rock probably crossed paths at some point. And then when you finally do see them on TV, it makes it mean a little bit more because there's like a little history that they can touch on. I'm not saying that they did that. Obviously, they don't do that shit in WWE, but they could have. A better example is Just Incredible and Scott Hall being buddies, and they met in ECW, and they kind of referenced their history.
Or Henning Hall.
Yeah.
Didn't they mention that too? Like, wasn't that?
Yeah, they talked about it. Yeah. So there's a great. This is why Scott Hall is awesome, and we're going off the rails here, but
anytime we can talk about Scott Hall, I'm all for that.
Scott Hall. I want to say it was Bash at the Beach '97. Scott Hall was tag teaming with maybe Macho Man against DDP and Hennig, and this is before Hennig had turned heel, and Hennig. I think that Scott Hall threw his toothpick at Hennig, and Hennig spit his gum at Hall, and you could see Hall mouth in the. It's like Scott he was so good at knowing where the hard cam was, and if it was on him, or whichever cam, the ringside cam in this case, it was on him. You could see him mouth, "You haven't changed a bit." Yeah. And it was such a cool moment where it's like, hey, that's right, these guys used to tag together in 1987 or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just really, I love that kind of thing. I love callbacks. I love continuity. So I just think it's really cool.
And there's a crossover too. There's the comic book crossover to wrestling fans, and comic book nerds love continuity and love references back to everything. And the writers do that. They're very particular about all that stuff. So it makes sense to have that in wrestling or anything that you do.
Dahmer chat's going off the rails too. Now we're talking about this. We're talking about Mortal Kombat.
Well, we got to ask it. Okay, then, Marcus. We know. Okay, what's our favorite character? Marcus, you start.
Mine is Noob Saibot. I love him. He's the original Sub-Zero. He got killed in the first Mortal Kombat tournament, and he comes back as this like evil specter.
Yes. Oh, that's a great one.
It's a cool story.
Mine's Johnny Cage. I love Johnny Cage since the Mortal Kombat movie in 1994. And yeah, he's been my guy ever since. So, and I don't mean to brag, but I'm pretty good with him. In every game I play, I can kick some ass with Johnny Cage on there. So, yeah, it's one of my favorite games of all time, Mortal Kombat. And a lot of wrestling fans love Mortal Kombat. That's always what I try to do when I try to get interviews with people is, hey, they like Mortal Kombat. I was like, going to ask them a Mortal Kombat question. So,
it would be funny for you to get an interview with like Mick Foley or somebody and be like, let's talk Mortal Kombat real quick.
You know what? You want to discuss a little Mortal Kombat? Let's do that. Hey, guys, too, if you like Mortal Kombat, let me say this. There's a podcast called The Mortal Podcast where this guy, he's a writer from Hollywood. He's actually knows DDP, friends with DDP and stuff like that. But he goes every episode. He talks to one of his friends. Could be a Mortal Kombat fan. Might not know shit about Mortal Kombat, but gives them the history and lore of all of Mortal Kombat, but focuses on one character and their backstory. It's great. So give that a listen. The Mortal Podcast. Check it out. It's really, really good. So cheap plug for, we're not even promoting that, but there you go. All right. Sub-Zero here. Steven likes Sub-Zero. Nesha likes Sonya. That's like
I think Nesha's also trashing your very self-centered conversation, Dom. Me.
No, she means yes. She just spelled it wrong.
Oh, okay. All right, let's hammer on. What's next?
Okay. We're almost finished here, actually. But let me say, okay, Eddie Kingston versus Daniel Garcia. Did you see any of that?
I saw clips of it. I didn't see the whole thing, but I did see clips. I saw the finish, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
So that strong style that they're doing looks brutal.
Right? Yeah. Really.
I also saw where Eddie Kingston said to him before the match, you don't have enough ass to get in the ring with me, meaning he's too light to step in the ring. And honestly, as they were slugging it out, I was like, Eddie better lighten up. He's going to hurt him. Not that Daniel Garcia is like a lightweight. He seems like a tough kid, but, it's weight advantage to Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, it was great. Like, I love the commentary. Like, people trash Jericho on commentary. I think Jericho's great on commentary.
Dom Nesha point out we forgot to say friend of the show, Eddie Kingston.
Friend of the show, Eddie. Friend of the show. Thank you, Nesha. Yeah. See, me. All right.
Says honestly, Nesha, I'm glad somebody finally said it. Go ahead, Dom.
No, it was good. Yeah, Jericho, he's great on commentary, and he adds so much context and backstory to it too. It's just like different. He'll reference old things like we just talked about. It's and him and Taz going back and forth about Popeye during the show. Like, I don't know. It's just good stuff. Yeah, the commentary I'm a big fan of on Rampage. Ricky Stark's there too. It's good stuff.
And here's the thing is, like, I think that as wrestling fans, we've gotten very used to like a particular sound and cadence and all that stuff, which by the way is great. And that's a good thing.
Familiarity. Why Vince Scully stuck around so long with the Dodgers.
However, I think the new presentations are smart. Again, it's different. Let's have something different, which is going to kind of grab people, grab their attention. And Bischoff says that all the time about WCW, where he's like, I was never going to be better than WWE. He was like, so how could I be different from WWE? And it's smart thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be different. You want to go against the grain of what people are seeing, because people typically want something different if they're seeing something like already on the television. So it's just like, yeah, go that way. Yeah, so it's gonna looking like Jericho and Eddie are gonna form an alliance. Could Eddie join the Inner Circle?
Nope. I'm gonna say no. I don't think he should. I like Lone Wolf Eddie. I think that should be his whole vibe. I think that more people need that. I think Christian Cage would benefit from that vibe, as we've discussed before, where it's like, look, not everybody has to be affiliated with a faction. Isn't that what got DDP over, right? Where it's like he's kind of like his own man. Fuck Sting, and there's a great example. He wasn't even affiliating himself with WCW.
Yeah,
he was just like his own entity. And I think that that's cool, because it's like that standout, individuality that, we all want to feel like we're individuals and important and different from everybody else. So like if everybody else is doing something and then you do the other thing, it makes you interesting.
Yeah. And that's the whole mentality about wrestling too, is the outlaw vibe. That's what you want to create. It's what made Stone Cold so popular, right? So it's just like, yeah, and Eddie fits that bill really very much so in his own way. And like, I like that he has like a loose friendship with Moxley. So I think you can definitely go back to that. But like, I think that's maybe where you only keep him at. But otherwise, he's like basically a lone wolf. You know what I mean? Dom,
Nesha makes a good point. Where the fuck is Marco Stunt, Dom?
I don't know. He's wrestling some indie shows, but he's still with AEW, I'm sure. That's a great question, though, isn't it?
Hey.
Yeah, we haven't seen him.
Hey. Good opportunity, Dom. Good opportunity to put him in like a spooky heel gimmick with Abaddon. Mm-hmm. He's been gone for a little bit. You could even have the guys referencing on TV, like Luchasaurus and everybody. Like, where the fuck is Marco, by the way?
Also, have you noticed Luchasaurus hasn't been talking, but he's been hissing and growling?
Yeah. That's his new thing.
What's going on there?
I don't know. Maybe during like the pre-tapes, they're just like, all right, now it's your turn to talk, and he just gives a shit promo, and they're like, hey, new direction. What if you just like stick your tongue out and make a fucking noise? How about that?
Can you hiss like a lizard or something?
You ever been like at the park and a goose comes at you? To do that noise, they stick out their tongue, they hiss.
I wonder what Dan Goose thinks the goose is.
Dan Goose. Let's talk gooses.
Let's talk some gooses.
Maybe not gooses. That's improper. Let's talk geese.
Yeah. Let's talk a gaggle. Let's have a giggle over a gaggle. Hey, okay, Marcus. I shared this with you before we took air here. John Morrison making that announcement. He's like very heartfelt. I don't know if you watched it, but it was really good. And it really made me want to see him in AEW.
Your retirement makes me want to see you wrestle.
He didn't retire.
Well, I thought that's what I see. I didn't watch the video. I thought that's what it was. What did he say?
He talked about like his time and how much he appreciated his time in WWE. But then he was forthright too, and how he got released. They didn't even give him a good luck in future endeavors. They just basically, like Laurinaitis called him, and told him, "Hey, we're getting rid of you," basically, and then that was it.
They didn't give him the good luck in your future endeavors.
He didn't even see it coming. He said.
So let me say, you sent me that link as I was like making dinner. I like took a peek at it, and I was like, "What in the what?"
It looks because at first glimpse, it looks like a retirement announcement.
Yeah,
you know, it does.
Yeah, and people were saying thank you, John, and stuff. Yeah. So I'm like, I guess he retired.
Yeah.
But okay, so I need to watch that video because it sounds interesting. I mean, Laurinaitis' gimmick is the future endeavor. He didn't even say it.
No.
That's not cool, man.
If
I'm gonna get fired, I want the dude to come at me with his gimmick.
Just be like, thank you for your time. Appreciate your time.
No, I want him to say future endeavors to me. If you're gonna fucking do this, John, that's what I'd be saying. John, if you're gonna fucking do this,
do it right.
You need to say future endeavors to me right now.
Do it.
You're like tearing up. Just do it.
Just do it. What movie is that from? The guy.
I don't know.
Damn it! I wish I knew the reference because people power.
Hey, listen here, motherfucker. If you're gonna fire me, you better use that future endeavors line.
No, Mark, but yes, it made me really want to see him show up in AEW. There's definitely space for John Morrison.
Does he become Johnny Dynamite?
Yeah. So there's Johnny Rampage. There's Johnny Elite. There's Johnny Dynamite.
He would have.
I think Dynamite's the best one.
Yeah, I think Johnny Dynamite is pretty cool.
I think you can't beat that. Johnny Dynamite, 100%. 100%. I'm with that one.
Steven Chambers saying nope, Johnny Mundo.
That was good if he goes to MLW, yes, because there's the Lucha Underground ties. But if he goes to the AEW, boom, Johnny Dynamite. Got a pun intended too with the boom. Yes, Johnny Dynamite. That's my pick.
I wouldn't hate it.
Mm-hmm. All right, Marcus. What's your Marcus Meltzer rating?
Good program. I'm going to give it a solid grade. Mm-hmm. I think that the thing that obviously stood out the very most was the promo between MJF and CM Punk. The other matches were fine. I didn't think that there was Thunder Rosa's match was the other best thing on the card. I'm going to give it a 7.1 this week, Dom.
Okay.
So pretty good program.
Good grade. Yeah, that's a good grade. Okay. Who's your MVP?
Ooh, man, it's hard to choose against either MJF or CM Punk. My heart wants to go Thunder Rosa just because she's awesome. But I think I gotta go CM Punk, man. That was just I said it was like a very Rocky Apollo-esque segment where it's like they're each kind of getting their shots in, but CM Punk came out as more of like the Rocky came out on top. So gotta give it up, man. CM Punk gets the nod.
Well, I'll balance the scales out then and say MJF because he gets this big opportunity to what people have been banking on and wanting to see, and I think he delivered. So I mean, you could really flip a coin on either of those guys, but I'll go MJF as my MVP for the week.
Hey Dom, Steven Chambers is saying Sammy versus Tony Nese for Rampage, going to be a great match. Yes. Is this going to be just the thing? Is like you have new people come in and they do the job for Sammy Guevara? Because clearly Tony Nese is going to do the job here, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's a good way. I mean, like, you want one of your top guys to be winning matches and defending his title successfully, and that's what the TNT title has been about. So I mean, I think it's a good thing, right? If you're incorporating newer talent into this that people you want to get eyes on, if they have a good competitive match against one of your top champions, then yeah, why not? I mean, I don't think it's a real big issue now. I mean, it's one thing if it's like very contradictory, where like you're trying to get somebody super duper over and like making them lose right away in some form or fashion that doesn't make sense. That's one thing, but they've really built Sammy up as this like worthy, wanting fighter every week. So I'm not super. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing, really. You know.
Here's what I think would be more interesting, and it's kind of something that Cody did there for a little bit, where his open invitation is to anybody outside of AEW. So, like, I'm not saying, you know, if somebody stands out, you don't sign them to a long-term contract, but there's a lot of talented people out there just in the indies. I bring them in. So like once a week, you know, Sammy Guevara comes out and he's like, all right, I made an open challenge. So who showed up this week to challenge me? And like, you know, it was cool when like Warhorse came out. That's obviously how we got Eddie Kingston was during that period of time, right? Ricky Starks. But how fun would it be to have like some legendary like Tatanka come in and try to grab them? I'm not saying it's legends every week, but it would just be fun to see like a legend who's still out there and still working come in and try to take it. Like I don't know. I think that kind of thing is a lot of fun. And obviously, like newer guys, but then Dominic, the blow off would be when you finally bring Bray Wyatt in. He comes in and he gets the belt.
That's interesting. Yeah, that'd be very interesting. Yeah, no, Tony Nese is a great athlete, so he'll be cool to see in the mix. Now, him and Arya Daivari talked about tagging with one another coming. You know, once they got released, they had a willingness to tag with one another. We saw Daivari too wrestle a couple weeks ago on Rampage, and it was great. Like two Minnesota guys in their hometown, it was awesome. Like, so I hope they bring Daivari back in the mix too, because he's got so much potential and such a smart mind for the business. So I mean, I hope that means more tag team, because you get those guys in as a tag team too. Man, you can't go wrong with that. So
I agree.
We do have to talk about this. Dante Martin, speaking of, part of Team Taz. What's happening there, Mark? Where's this going?
I don't know. I don't mind it. I think that I think it's a pretty cool pickup. I really like Dante Martin. I think he's really talented. You know, ordinarily, you know how I am. I'm kind of like, I lean toward the old school wrestling. Let's tell a story in the ring, paint a picture. You know, like, yeah, let's not rely heavily on high spots or whatever. But what he does is so spectacular and fun to watch that it's like you can't not get behind it. You know. When are we gonna get him and Ray Phoenix in a ring together? Because I feel the same way about Ray Phoenix, where it's like ordinarily I'm not crazy about that stuff, but his execution, Ray Phoenix, that is, his execution on everything is so precise and perfect all the time. I don't think I've seen him botch anything yet. I'm trying to think of it, and I don't think and he does some wild shit on those ropes where it's like he shouldn't be able to do that consistently without fucking up every once in a while. But I haven't seen it. So, like, that's why I feel like somebody like him and Dante Martin mixing it up in the ring, that would be something to see.
It'd be real good stuff.
But in any case, good pickup for Team Taz. They have stagnated of late, so they need help in some way. Where's Brian Cage, Dom?
I don't know.
Same place Marco Stunt is. Are they going to be together, Dom?
Oh man, what a tandem! I don't know if I'd buy into that tandem.
No.
Cage, they should really bring him back and just have him go, pun intended, on a rampage.
Mortis.
Huh?
Mortis.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Bring him back as his alter ego.
I like that. Bring him with Bray Wyatt.
Okay. Oh, that could work. So Bray Wyatt and Mortis working together.
Yeah, how about it?
Okay.
I like it. Also, cruiserweight title. When's that happening?
Nesha, good point. Where the fuck is Miro?
I think we're gonna see. Now, this is what I was gonna say too. Maybe we're gonna, winter is coming. Miro will show up with Lana, and there you go. It's a new, like, he'll show up. revitalized, ready to fucking rock and roll.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty neat. So Nesha, with that too, that got taken out of context, I think, with his Melissa Santos. That was like she was referring to something in the past. So one of the websites kind of took that wildly out of context in a way, I think. So yeah, I don't think that's totally accurate. Melissa's been vocal before, and I think that's what she was referencing. But I don't think it was this time around. I think it got taken out of context and probably put things in a bad position almost. So yeah, I think this will all kind of wash out. You know, I'm not too concerned about it. I did want to get your opinion right before we cut off here, Mark. I fucking love Billy Gunn, man, and him going up against Darby that past week. I didn't name an MVP last week, but he was my MVP. Yeah. Well, how do you think of that? Like that's a topic because they are feuding with Darby and Sting. So what do you think about all that, Mark?
I think it's fun. You know, it's kind of something that you didn't know you needed until you saw it. Where you know, Billy Gunn he still looks like $1 million, in better shape than most of the roster, I would say, and comes out there and works his ass off. And yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's really interesting, and excited to see where it goes.
Me too. A go-go. Yeah, I think he's Steven. I'm sure he's still recovering from the eye injury and stuff like that. But yeah, you get him back in the mix too. Because like the Factory, you know, obviously we saw them with Punk and stuff like that, but they're just there too right now. So it's like just a lot of people, and
yes.
You know, it's gonna be interesting because there will be a point in time where Tony Khan, you know, has got to make some moves and for better or for worse, let some people go maybe. And, you know, hopefully there's a way to do it. Like I said, volleyball that thing up, rotate them out, bring them back at some point. You don't have to like super sign. That's how wrestling is, though, a lot of ways now. It's like some guys are signed, some guys aren't, and they show and do little spots here and there. It's kind of like, you know, it's just a lot of talented folks out there, and you want them to all find spots and make their hay and get over and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just tough. It's tough when you only have so much TV time and everything like that. So. Marcus, speaking of time, there's a lot of stuff that people can take their time up with on ad-free shows, is there not?
Absolutely. Yeah, please. That was a good transition, Dominic. Definitely go check out ad-free shows. There actually is a sale going on right now, Black Friday sale. You sign up for an annual membership, you save 15%, adds up to a lot of money. Plus, you get an Eric Bischoff Slam buddy, which is like an old school wrestling buddy. So those are really cool. And honestly, you know, I've said it before on here, you know, if you're a wrestling fan and you're not doing this, you're kind of missing the boat on a lot of stuff. You know, it's tons of interactive experiences. You get to talk to some of your favorite wrestlers. If you do the top guy level, you get to hang out with the likes of Double J, Eric Bischoff, Arn Anderson, Kurt Angle, all these incredible talents that you grew up watching. All of a sudden you get to hang out. And by the way, Dominic, you were there with me at Top Guy Weekend. There were a lot of surprises. We got to be around Sting, FTR, Matt Cardona, for that matter. The AEW roster, basically the entire roster showed up and did karaoke. Yeah. So yeah, it's, you know, if you're not on adfreeshows.com, I would encourage you to look it up. Even if you're just going to join at the $9 a month range, it comes out to what, like 30 some cents per day. And you get all this incredible content. So if you're not over there, go check it out. And yeah, that's it for me, Dom. You got anything you need to plug?
Hell, go to Boxing Gimmicks too and get the sweet ass shirt.
Yeah, that's where Dominic got that. BoxingGimmicks.com. Tons of other shirts over there and a lot of great ones. They just came out with some awesome Double J ones. So get over there and check that out.
Yeah, sweet, man. As far as me, like I said, check out the MLW Fusion Fight Report. I release that every Thursday and Friday typically, and just give you a recap of what's going on in all things MLW. Also, I happen to interview Gnarls Garvin, who made his MLW debut this past week. So great talent. Really smart for the business. He's only 26, but he's a big dude, and he's got that Southern wrestling mentality, and he's embraces it. It's great to see. Really smart, fun conversation, insightful conversation. I do some rapid fire Thanksgiving questions too. So check all that out. Yes, Gnarls Garvin, Steven. He's awesome. Check it. Even Google or just you search some of his matches on YouTube. Really good. But heck, go to MLW. the MLW YouTube channel, you can watch Fusion on Thanksgiving, and it's a great show. They have a ladder match. Some surprises happen on there, so cool stuff. As far as anything else goes, Marcus, what else do I typically do on the site? Huh? I do coverage.
People you've interviewed.
People have Gnarls Garvin. That's all I've really interviewed recently, but we'll have some more coming up, and look out for some columns. You can always check out my stuff. I do coverage for NXT, live coverage NXT, live coverage at AEW Dynamite, and then live coverage for Impact as well. So, and MLW, I do that for MLW.com. So check all that out. As far as anything else, follow me on Twitter at Dominic DeAngelo. Marcus, did you plug your Twitter? You're right below, so people can see you.
Oh yeah, Marcus P. DeAngelo.
Mm-hmm. And then just keep tuning in. This is always fun. Love the interaction we get with you guys, whether you're new or stalwarts like Nesha or Steven or anybody of that effect too. So we appreciate you guys all. We really do. And it's always a good time. So, and hey, Marcus, I guess welcome back. All right, you gonna be here next week?
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see if I got time.
I'll see if I can pencil you in.
We'll figure it out. All right, guys. Well, I will see you next week. Okay, on this.
I'll probably be here.
Okay, will you? Because this is 2, not 1, 2 Dynamite dudes on a Rampage.
See you guys.
See you guys.